Happy May 15th, happy Friday. I'm Johanna Miller. I'm the Energy and Climate Program Director at the Vermont Natural Resources Council. I am here in Montpelier with my lovely 8-year-old daughter, Lila, who's making a concoction for our dog, Samson, who's hurt. It is, many, many weeks into this pandemic, and we're bringing you our thoughts from afar, virtually. And just continuing our climate dispatch, wanting to stay connected with you all in these uncertain times. We're really glad to have Jeff Forward with us today. Jeff is been a long time clean energy, climate action advocate, working very hard at the local level with the Richmond Climate Action Committee, and also as a former board chair of Renewable Energy Vermont. Jeff is a really important ally to us and to the state of Vermont as we pursue the economic opportunities of getting off of imported fossil fuels in an equitable way. So just a quick update from me before I turn it over to Jeff. VNRC has been working hard with partners during this time to really continue the important work of really thoughtfully continuing to address another crisis, which is that of climate change. So we have been thinking about how we show up. We've been partnering with other important partners in the Winnock effort, lending the time of our amazing organizer Ian to help stand up and support vulnerable Vermonters in this moment. We're also really focused on making sure that we continue to make the necessary policy and programmatic process when it comes to creating a more resilient Vermont. We've been tracking what's happening in the legislature. Just yesterday, great news that the Senate passed S337, which is an important sort of pilot bill that enables Efficiency Vermont, in particular, our energy efficiency utility, to do more work in the thermal and transportation space. So that's a really important bill, passed very strongly out of the Senate yesterday. We're hoping that they take up more action as well, including the Global Warming Solutions Act, which, as you know, is a priority bill for us, really important, even more than ever, to be accountable to our long-held climate goals, do what we can to combat this crisis in a very strategic way. So the Global Warming Solutions Act sets up a framework and a process for strategic action, not only on reducing climate pollution, but doing so in a way that puts people to work, that really prioritizes and centers equity and justice in it, and really importantly thinks about resilience and adaptation and the role of our farms and forests in doing what we need to do when it comes to the climate. So we're thinking of all of you in this moment, and again, really glad to have Jeff with us to give us a sense and an update about what he's been doing, both at the local level and the importance of that, and how he's thinking about and showing up to continue to focus this important work more broadly. So Jeff, give us an update on what's been happening.
Well, thank you so much, Joey. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on this. I think it's one of the more hopeful things that has been happening over the past few weeks is the connections between energy committees. I really like the listserv that you put up. It's been very active, and I think it's really helpful for us to talk amongst ourselves of what we have done and what we can do. Richmond was an early adopter on energy committees. I think we were one of the first ones in the state back in 2007. This was a long time ago. And we've done a whole host of things that I'm sure a lot of other energy committees have done. Everything from drafting and advocating for an energy conservation plan for our select board, to doing workshops, to doing products, discounts and exchanges like light bulbs and drying racks. But I think one of the most effective things that we've done, and done really sort of beyond the energy committee and more as individuals that have become knowledgeable through the energy committee, is we advocate, solicit, and help elect and support leaders within our town, and leaders even at the state level. So there are several of us who actively talk to our state legislators regularly on climate change issues. We look for candidates for the select board, for the planning commission, and for state representation. You know what, I think it was Woody Allen who said, you know, 90% of life is showing up. And showing up at select board meetings and planning commission meetings to advocate for solutions is not just helpful, it's necessary. And it's even better yet if you can get on or have a champion get on those committees, the select board, the planning commission, or even the legislature. We're actively doing that now. We're actively working for a candidate for our state representative. And as full disclosure, I'm doing that myself. So one of the areas that you have an opportunity to vote for that you may not be aware of is if you're a co-op member, either Washington Electric Co-op or Vermont Electric Co-op, you have the opportunity to vote for the trustees that oversee and manage the cooperative. I am running for Vermont Electric Co-op trustee right now. It's a lot sooner than town meeting. This election is happening right now. The votes will be counted on next Wednesday. And if you're a member, I would encourage you to go and to the Vermont Electric Co-op website and look at the annual meeting, look at the election materials, and vote. Voting is like, it's an opportunity and a responsibility for, you know, any individual has the opportunity to do it. So I hope I can post my bio in this so that you can see why I'm running. A major reason why I'm running is climate change. And while Vermont Electric Co-op is doing much in this regard, much more needs to be done, and it has to be done quicker. And it's the major motivation for why I'm doing that. So my contact information will be in the chat as I understand it. Please feel free to contact me if you have questions. And if you have the opportunity to vote, I hope you do.
Jeff, I just want to say, you know, I think what you really articulated is the importance and the role of leadership and the importance of individual leadership and community leadership and leadership in our utilities and with policymakers. And I just want to say thank you to you and to your community and to Vermonters across the state who are standing up and serving, you know, people in this crisis moment, but also looking long-term about how we create and sustain a healthy and thriving Vermont. I know the Vermont Electric Cooperative is an important partner and an important utility in Vermont. They have a really, I think they have some good solar programs, including one for low income earners, which I think is really important. And ideally, folks like you who step up and serve their communities and serve and partner with different important players like our utilities and our policymakers are ever more crucial in this moment. So many thanks to you. I hope others will tune into Jeff and figure out what he's doing and what he's hoping to do in this new role. But also, again, just underscoring the important role of community energy leadership in the Town Energy Committee Network. We had a great meeting with Jeff and about a dozen others earlier this week. We're going to continue to do more to convene the network of Town Energy Committee leaders so that they can focus both on the projects and the programs that we still have the opportunity to implement, as well as find other ways to support people in this moment as we help move through this pandemic into creating a more resilient Vermont. Again, it's my hope as a policy framework that the Global Warming Solutions Act is part of that mix. It may be taken up in the legislature in the next coming weeks. Please continue to follow vnrc.org for action opportunities around that. We will certainly keep you posted, but letting your policymakers know that we really have an obligation and an opportunity when it comes to putting people to work in the clean energy and job sector, in the trade sector, in the local foods and local forestry sector. This is a moment to invest in ourselves and really lean into the amazing social network that we are so lucky to have here in the state of Vermont. So thanks, Jess, for your leadership, for all you're doing. Good luck in your efforts locally and with VEC and the kinds of programs that they're working to support, like solar access for low-income earners, which I think is great. So stay tuned. We'll post some more information. We're looking forward to staying connected with you, but mostly we're sending our best to you from afar in these crazy days and hoping you've been getting out and enjoying the sun. So thanks again, Jeff, and we'll stay in touch with all of you.
Thanks for all you do, Joy.
Team effort.